morning. Welcome to another episode of Ask the Wizard streaming live. You're the first person I've talked to today, so my voice is croaky. Look at that. Topic for today's show is, why do things seem to get worse before they get better? Okay, we're going to talk about that in exactly 5 minutes. Starting the timer now. Get a coffee, get comfortable, and we'll see you in 5. Hey Phil, how you doing? Long time no see. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Well, good morning, everyone. Let me turn this down a bit. It is, what is it? My goodness, it's the end of September. I believe September 30th. Do you guys ever learn how to do the months this way? So like January, February, March, April, May. So the knuckles were 31 and in between was 30. Yeah, sometimes the simplest ways work the best, right? Yeah, I got an echo here. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Share. We're all in this together. Why, hold on, sorry. There we go. Why do things seem to or appear to get worse before they get better? This is a topic that when I was teaching, I would talk about a lot, especially when it relates to belief systems and things like that. For today, I'm going to look at it from a very simple yet powerful understanding using energy mechanics, or vibrational mechanics is another, probably more accurate word for it, a descriptor. Your internal, again, so you have, in your present moment experience, there's two hemispheres. The first one is your external experience, which is the world of your five senses, and the second one is your internal environment, which is where your thoughts are, where you visualize, where you remember, where you speculate into the future, all that kind of thing. And then the interaction between those two is what you call emotions. So we aren't going to talk about emotions specifically. I want to talk about this resonance that happens, and then what happens when we choose to think and feel something different. So without anybody doing anything, your external experience and your internal environment, your external environment, that's a better word, whoa, I need more coffee. External environment and your internal environment will tend to resonate. They will harmonize. They will just naturally harmonize with each other. So then what happens is you decide you want to change something in your external experience. So in the manifesting process, the first step is creating your perfect desire. That's what you want to do, something different, right? You want to see something different in your external environment or your external experience. Hey, Lee, how you doing, buddy? You want to see something different out here. And so step one is you create the desire. So that's a desire you create. So you visualize, you create it. And then in the 5-step manifesting process, the home study course, which is hiding behind that picture right now, and when I did in-person workshops, that was the first step. Then the second step is you're living your experience on the inside. Now, this is when things start to get rocking and rolling. Because if you just sort of daydream or fantasize about things, but just you're not really focused, you're not consistent with it, things will just kind of flow along however they're going to flow along. But in step 2, when you start to like really feel it, when you start to consistently focus on it, what you're doing is you're changing the vibrations in your internal environment. Okay, so your external environment, your internal environment will naturally kind of resonate and harmonize. So now what you're doing is when you create a different desire inside than what's out here, and in step 2, we call it living your desire on the inside. You feel it, you visualize it, you start to feel it. See, there's your emotions. You start to feel good when you think about it, right? And you consistently think about it and focus on it. So what you're actually doing is now you're introducing an imbalance. Isn't this interesting? And it's been my experience, this is something that often gets missed in a lot of the sort of manifesting, if you will, processes, is you're just supposed to think of it, visualize it, and then just things naturally and magically change out here. And I'm not saying that they don't, but it's been my experience and a whole lot of other folks is that there's that process in the middle. So you are consciously introducing an imbalance in this system, right? So even if your external experience sucked, But you're resonating with that in a bizarre way. There's balance, isn't there? So now what you're doing is you're consciously introducing an imbalance in that system. Now, to apply it to, let's say, a vehicle, if you're driving your vehicle and there's a wheel that's out of balance, it shakes the whole vehicle. You think damn thing's going to fall apart sometimes when the wheel is so far out of balance, right? The whole thing shakes. Why? Because there's something that's introduced an imbalance into the system. And that's what you're doing in many ways. So when you do that, you're introducing this imbalance. And guess what? You're going to see that out here. You're going to see the out here as you do that. And this is why so many people start this process and then stop. For two reasons. The first one is they've been taught that you just think of your desire, put your vision board up, do your affirmations, and then things just magically change out here. And I'm not saying that can't happen, but I find if it's those deep ones, that's probably not the way it's going to go. The second reason is they do this, and then they experience the disruption that they are causing. They experience a disruption, and sometimes it's like, it's rough. It's not just a little bit. Sometimes it's like shakes your damn world sort of thing, right? And so consciously or even unconsciously, they stop believing, dreaming, feeling, and then guess what? Things go back into balance again. So here's the thing, and I'm not going to take a lot of your time today. Here's the thing. In many respects, how bad do you want change? Do you want to see change in your external experience bad enough, if I can use that word, deep enough, that you're willing and able, if it happens, I'm not saying it will, but if, and I think I can comfortably say when it happens, you're able to persist in holding on to that internal environment that you're consciously creating, even though it appears like out here, things are not getting better, they're getting worse. And in a bizarre way, if and when that happens, that's one of the best indicators that you're actually introducing change. Because you've introduced this imbalance in the system and you're seeing it reflected in your external experience. So what do? This is where bullheaded stubbornness is such a valuable trait. And understanding the mechanics of what's going on. Understanding the mechanics of what's going on is that you've started that process. So now that you've started the process, don't stop, because then you're going to have to go through it all again. But when you notice that, hang on to the dream. And believe me, it's not going to be pretty all the time. Trust me. But hang on to the dream. Hang on to the desire. Keep visualizing. Keep feeling it. Just get bullheaded stubbornness and go, no, this is what I've decided to claim for my experience out here. And it really comes down to who's going to win. Is the uncomfortableness that you're creating going to win? Or is the dream going to win? And it's really just a matter of who can hold out the longest. It doesn't have to be pretty. I'm not saying you have to be positive all the time, believe me. But if you hold on, and as you hold on to that dream, no matter what, then your external experience will start to come into alignment with the internal environment, those vibrations that you have chosen to claim as your own. But you'll never see that. In my experience, you'll never see that if, when you first start, you stop. To just hang on and hang on and hang on and hang on. And sooner or later, with mathematical certainty or with mechanical certainty, the external will change to match your internal environment. I'm going to close with this. The phrase popped into my mind. I was always going to do a picture. I still might. And the phrase was, the only time you fail is when you stop. Because even though if it appears like you're losing badly, if you don't stop, you haven't failed. And if you have stopped, you can get up and start again. Because you have a reason for being here, and you deserve to feel good. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Share. We're all in this together. See you on the web.